Hello, gamers. I'm SL. Welcome to the Content Kitchen. Well, I guess this is more just the kitchen, but you know how it goes. Hello, Minos Prime. Welcome. That's a great question. That's a great question. The answer may surprise you. It is as it describes. We're gonna be doing this is a once every so often. In past, it's been monthly. In past, it's been after a major playthrough. We'll figure it out. It's a work in progress, but regular asterisk irregular check-ins to figure out what I'm up to, what we've been up to, see how we felt about the last few months of stream, and figure out what we're doing next. Good to take some time to reflect and vibe out and get any feedback and talk through some stuff. So this is going to be an inside baseball behind the scenes type evening. So if you like that, great. If not, that's okay. I'll be back to normal tomorrow or Tuesday because they might be offline tomorrow. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. What am I looking for? Whatever, let's do this. Okay, beautiful. Bake Pie, what's good? Welcome. Oh my god. Why is that so opaque? Oh. Okay. Should we start a new game? What one we haven't played in 6 months? That's fucking crazy. It's been new game. Fuck it. It's been long enough. For those of you unfamiliar with Katamari, welcome. We're gonna skip a lot of the story because that's just how it is. We've been through it. We've been through it before. We'll get through it again. The goal is not to really dive into Katamari this evening so much as to use it as a platform over which to yap. And yap we shall. We actually have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. How's the audio coming in? Is it looking I think pretty good? Okay. Not confident what all these settings do because the remake is still feeling new to me. Alright, whatever. Let's just do this. Katamari Damacy is fun. I agree. Yeah, but it's like been like a minute. We haven't even talked about Alan Wake, I don't think, yet. It's been, we're not gonna talk in detail about spoilers, obviously, but so, folks, it's been, yeah, well, I checked, the last one may have been in December, which is fucked. Now, given I've had a hell of a personal life the last 6 months, so I think fair enough, basically, but, you know. I do think we should do this more often, regardless. It's easy to fit in a Katamari session. Not so often. I don't think it has utility to do too often, but You know how it goes. My goal today is not to do the usual thing. I've been trying to, you know, make some changes in my habits recently, because I do have a tendency, obviously, if anybody's been around here for more than a short period of time, to have lots of lofty ideas that I then do not execute on in real life. Which is like, you know, not like the worst trait to have if those ideas are indeed lofty and, you know, sort of ideal rather than something I need to do. Like, fundamentally, if I don't follow through on some unhinged stream idea, like, nobody dies, it's fine. But I don't like continuing to do that. So I do want to get a little more specific with my with the goals and with what we're doing and make some stuff happen. Speaking of, you know, you see in the docket, there is a note here. If we want to, I don't know if this makes sense, I can show you guys some of the, I've been doing a couple short video projects as, like, you know, prep work to get myself, because like, I've been as many of you know, I've been putting off making videos for a long ass time for a variety of reasons that you don't need to get into, but most of which involve me just like being rusty and not sure how to put together certain projects, and that's not a good reason. I'm not out of time, that's one thing, but like I can figure out the time probably. Upcoming schedule, we'll see. But you know, we had the content kitchen going for a minute too, etc. So anyway, let's we'll get to that in a minute. But if y'all do want to see some of those preview projects, we can. What? Did I back out? Oh, you back out. Holy shit. Damn, okay. So as we go through the docket and talk about things today, if you're finding yourself having thoughts, questions, feedback, especially feedback, just shout. Drop some thoughts in the chat. Always happy to hear, especially on Katamari Day. I'm always happy to hear in general, but I can't always promise I get to it right away. Or get to it ever, but you know how it goes. So, let's go through the docket in order for a little bit, as we let people filter in and stuff. I don't want to get too much into detail on the games themselves, because, well, it's been a minute, and I don't want to, like, spoil people on Alan Wake 2 if they haven't actually watched the playthrough. But I'll say, you know, I think that part's one of the less important bits of the Katamari sessions, historically. That said, Alan Wake 2 was a banger. It was a little long. As far as, like, stream structure goes, again, he's getting to, like, to the nitty-gritty of, like, the meta of it all. It was a little long. And it was a game that was, like, completely impenetrable if you weren't watching. Really hard to just jump in and watch an Alan Wake stream. So, you know, we play a lot of those games. That's not a non-starter by any means. I thought there was an item there. Damn. That's not a non-starter for a game, but something to keep note of in the future, in you know, future game selection as always. Just something I find to be a potential item of note. Is like, there's gonna be a long game that's hard to jump into. That's tough for viewers, new and old. New viewers, if you already know the game, then you're good to go though. So, you know. But I always want to juggle, you know, things that might appeal to new viewers versus things that might appeal to people who already are around, and that's a tough thing to juggle. So, Wilds was good. I did, like, drop the game, like, basically cold. I'm really shocked by that. I was, like, in fucking deep with Monster Hunter Wilds. And I like, literally just, like, stopped playing. I, like, forgot to play for, like, 3 days. I was on a pretty good cycle of doing the dailies and keeping up with stuff. And I just, like, completely spaced. And then I just stopped playing the game. This happens to me with a lot of games. I'm very susceptible to, like, the treadmill effect. Like, well, I'm on it. And I don't even mean this like in like a, like, I'm purely compelled by some game system and I don't actually like the game. I like Monster Hunter Wilds a lot. It was a really good time. But fundamentally, like, I wasn't, like, you know, deeply personally hooked or something. Because clearly I was able to just sort of extract myself immediately. Which is, you know, whatever. I do this with Animal Crossing every fucking time, for example. Every time this Animal Crossing game. I play it for like 3 weeks and I'm like super into it, and then I miss like 2 days and I'm cooked. Never touch it again. So like I could play more, but I'm not sure. Alan Wake 2 was a banger though. Like you know, fantastic game. Not much I can say except it was, you know, it's highly recommended, but you really will get the most out of it if you played all the Remedy games, so keep that in mind. But I think those are both good. Alan Wake 2 wasn't that long. I think it was only like, you know, with the DLC, like 15 sessions. That's not bad. Again, it felt long as far as the game goes, but it was I think, very reasonable. Boring Katamari, brother. So, that's that. One big thing about the keep returning to, well, maybe not keep returning to, it's not that complicated. Sometime last year or the year before, I was like, oh, you know, I sketched out. We gotta watch these. I'm sorry. We gotta. Sorry. Then we'll get back to yapping. That's valid, Fake Pie. That is not in this game. I don't think. Yeah. I believe that is in. Yeah, that's in the PS3 one. We should play that one again soon. It's just the remake is so much easier. I don't have to deal with hardware at all. I just launched the game. So the pivot to the VOD channel was not a move I made like sometime nah, like the game is optimized like ass. I don't think you're being entitled at all. Like they optimized it they didn't optimize it. It's fucked. I know Hydra was saying at one point like there's just like fucking 10,000 polygons in every monster. Like they just didn't optimize it. The game looks good, but it doesn't look that good. Like, it doesn't look good until like melting every PC on the planet. Like I got a fucking 5080, and I'm still like, you know, it still melts my PC sometimes. That doesn't make sense. Like they fucked it. The game's it's not like a technical mess like Scarlet and Violet is, but like it is like deeply unoptimized, and it's like notably so. Like people will often say that it's like, well, like, you know, like how unoptimized? Like, can you tell? And like you can extremely tell. I don't know. But yeah, the VOD channel things. Like I think last year or year before, I made like a post. I was like, I don't think we're gonna like stop streaming the main channel. I might like put more VODs in the VOD channel though. And at some point in my recent working on video arc offline, I realized, like, you know, I've been seeing some folks on YouTube try to split their like YouTube presence such that like one channel has long form video and one channel has edited stuff, basically. Or long form in this case meaning not like videos that are just long, but videos that are like unedited, like VODs. Hello, explain it. You know, I'll let it slide because it is Katamari. Can me or no? And so that's how we ended up here, is that I realized that if I'm going to start posting edited stuff at all ever, I do need to... It probably makes more sense to try to not cannibalize, like, notification headspace, basically. Like, I'm sure people who, you know, are watching my main channel for, like, the, you know, now very old Metal Gear playthroughs or the Persona playthroughs or whatever, Danganronpa, whatever, Katamari is, yep, one of my favorite games ever. It's very specific though, so like it's got to appeal to you on a very like fundamental level, I think. But yeah, that's so like that's my thinking right now is like if you want streams and VODs, you'll go to the channel that has the streams and VODs, and if you want edited stuff, you go to the channel with edited stuff. That just seems to be a cleaner, more elegant solution to the channel distribution. And it also, you know, sort of from my own perspective as far as making stuff, like, places a much higher premium on a parasitic word. Word. I think I've heard of that before. Like, when I get to doing edited stuff, it'll hopefully place a higher premium on, like, those notifications. Like, my goal, you know, I've talked about before, like, what am I going to do with edited stuff? And the answer is, like, probably make something video essay-ish. And when you make something that's video essay-ish, you want those to be fairly, like, you know, event viewing. It's like, oh shit, like, Essel put out a new thing. That's the goal. When that happens, if it happens, who knows? But that's the vector I'm establishing, or would like to establish. So that's how we ended up on the VOD channel. Again, I don't think I ever like made like a post about it or like talked about exactly why I suddenly stopped streaming on the main channel. So I hope the main channel doesn't think I'm like dead or something. So I'd like to get back to posting something on the main channel soon, because we haven't posted in a month or two. But I also, you know, like I think part of the reason why so many folks found the VOD channel through Ultrakill was that the VOD channel was like sort of unprimed algorithmically. Like there was no not a lot of stuff I had posted there before, especially on streams. So like it didn't have like a bunch of you know, pre-existing. It didn't have that problem that people talk about where, you know, if you have an existing viewer base, you aren't watching something new you're doing, then like the algorithm doesn't care because your existing viewer base doesn't care. So in this case, hey, Ultrakill on a pretty clean like newer channel worked out well. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with the split. Like I think that it like makes sense to me to run it like this. So we'll find out. Again, if anybody has thoughts on whether you prefer 1 channel, 2 channels, 3 channels, whatever, let me know. But that's my plan for the time being. Is just to run these 2 channels as is. You know, you have 1 channel with full streams, 1 channel with edited stuff. That's, you know, like pretty straightforward. So beyond this, oh yeah. Yes, Time Spinner and Cavern of Dreams. I really like them. They're really short, and I really appreciated that. These are 2 really good games. Cavern of Dreams was, I'm not calling it mid. It wasn't mid. It just, I don't know. It's a little mid. But like mid, like affectionate, I think. Like a, you know, like a 7. It's like, yeah, that wasn't it. Or like a, you know, like a 6 to a 7. Like a, you know, 3 out of 5 stars. Like, yeah, it was nice. It was good. Like, I liked it. It was a good time. There was some really cool levels, some cool concepts. It was movement-y. Yeah, mid without the connotation like, oh, it was like mid. It was like, no, it was a very, you know, pleasant. Like, if 5 is mid, a 6 and change, whether that's a 6 or a 7. What's up, Couch? Welcome to Katamari. Thank you so much for the resub, Couch. Welcome back to the diner. Enjoy your emotes and complimentary golden banana. Gotta play some DK soon. I haven't played in a while. Yeah, I had a great time. The PC gaming show like ramped up. It was weird. Like it was mid derogatory for a while, and then it got less mid as it went on. So, Cavern of Dreams. I'm glad we played it. It was short as hell. It was really smooth. It just it needs a little more oomph. You know, I have, speaking of video essay ideas. Again, if you guys want to see some later, we can try to maybe do that. But one of the ideas I was jotting on scripts for was potentially like the intangibles of something being good, basically. And like there's something about Cavern of Dreams presentationally that doesn't click for me. Like it looks good and it looks like PS1 N64-ish, but like so does Ultrakill and so does Pseudo Regalia, and I think much more highly of those games, especially Ultrakill. Pseudo Regalia I don't have any reservations with. It's just kind of small. It's a very good game. It's so weird, and I like that about it. But like Ultrakill is like real good. So that was, some ups and downs there, but I think overall, great experience there. And I really, really, really value that we played short games. I think it's like the fact that we got to say like, cool, we beat 2 games in like the period of like 2 or 3 weeks. Like that's killer. It was so good just to be able to like, play games and be done. Log them on, backlogged. Just move on through. Yeah, those look pretty sweet. I haven't looked at Mortal Shell 2 yet because I believe I heard, did not hear much, but yeah, there was a lot going on in the Future Game Show last night was sick too. Or Friday night? Friday night was sick. That was really, or was that yesterday? No, it was yesterday afternoon. Oh my god, my brain is all out of it. Oh, are you moving? Hopefully the move's been going smoothly enough. But yeah, I got VODs for Future Game Show, Xbox, and PC gaming. And I can post if I want. If you guys want to see like my list of games I've marked down as like games of interest, I might make a spreadsheet and post that. Does that sound good? One thing I forgot to write down is that what's a fucking shrimp tempura? One thing I have not written down on my docket here is that like I really do enjoy doing show coverage and journalistic type stuff, and that is not like, again, maybe more criticism than journalism. Not like investigative, more, evaluative and reviewative. We need to go over a little bit, it shows. Tier list, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. Oh, hi, Macho. High five. Oops. High five. Oh, that sucks, Couch. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, hey, it's a Katamari State of the Stream night, Couch. It's Yap Central this evening. I gotta make it a short one, guys. Like I really, because I gotta get up at 6:30 tomorrow. Not every day, thankfully, but I'm trying to like really make sure I get there early. And I gotta get there early for onboarding tomorrow. So I'm like, I don't even know what the traffic's like yet. Like, and Google is scaring me slightly with it. I'm like, well, they're like, it could be 30 minutes or it could be an hour. Who knows? I'm like, bro, normal day, sure, it'll be fine. Thank you, Couch. Thank you. That means a lot. So yeah, a spreadsheet. Yeah, I think we'll do a spreadsheet. I'll try to make a little spreadsheet of like game name, when it's coming out, interest level, make a little spreadsheet. That'll be good. That'll be useful for me too. So, and then if people want to like suggest games to put on the list, I will either accept or veto them, etc., etc. So, but yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4, Couch, made by with Platinum Games attached. Super Meat Boy 3D, lots of peak. Even among just like the known quantities, let alone like new stuff. P4 remake. Oh baby. Oh baby. Muppets boxing. Muppets boxing ironically looks crazy. So, but yeah, so VOD channel pivot I think is mostly going fine. If anyone has any thoughts, let me know. But otherwise, we'll just keep running it down and figure it out as we go. You may need to save some of the ultra kill thing. But that's like a long one. My treatise on ultra kill. But no, it's been a good experience. I'm really appreciative to everybody who came over on YouTube side for ultra kill, because I was like, that like never happens where like I play a new game and like get like a bunch of people in. So like super shout out to all of you, even the ones I've been mad at, even the ones I've been annoyed with. It's been really cool. Really felt very welcomed by the ultra kill community, which is very cool. On the whole. Some of you aren't that nice. But yeah, it's been a great experience. I love ultra kill as a game. It's been wonderful, and I mentioned before that like there's times in the past where I've been like, well, I don't want to get like pigeonholed into a game, and like I don't want to like I'm not gonna. To be clear, for any ultra kill fan, like I'm not only gonna play ultra kill. Like, that's just not what I do, and I haven't been doing it since playing ultra kill. But there's been times, the biggest, like one of the big streaming regrets that I have is many moons ago, I had built up a lot of steam playing Darkest Dungeon, first one, way back, and like got kind of spooked by a couple big nights in a row, and I just dropped the game cold. and it wasn't smart. I really shouldn't have done that. It's possible that some other people who are watching them, like X percent of them, just wouldn't have watched anything else anyway, and that's fine. But I think, you know, it behooves me to, I think, be a little smarter about stuff like that. And I like Ultra Kill. It's not like I'm burnt out on it. Cough, cough, SMT, cough, cough. We'll get back to it. Get to it later. So, anyway. That's a bit of a weird streaming tale, but one that I think about sometimes. So, you know, that informs my opinion of, you know, that's part of the reason why I've been setting up for the weekly archipelagos, is that I want to make sure I'm showing up to play some Ultra Kill, you know, on a semi-regular basis. Because, like, A, I still like it, and I have a lot more I want to do with the game, and B, I think it's just you know, good business as far as these things go. Or not good business, you know, good best practices is maybe the best phrase I was looking for. You know, as far as streaming goes, like, my goal is, you know, like I always say, as far as like streaming meta goes, people like to say like, oh, stream exclusively, if you're, you know, if you're not pro, stream exclusively what you want to play. And like, that is an extremely valid way to stream, and no shade on that at all. But I don't think it's good advice numbers wise, if you care about numbers at all. And I don't like care about numbers deeply. I'm not trying to like I always say with these, I'm not trying to make like a bunch of money off of streaming. I do this because I have fun doing it, and I enjoy meeting people online and talking about stuff and sharing game experiences. That's what I care about, and yapping. Also love yapping, clearly. So, but that said, so like I value numbers for the purposes of increasing those things. More meeting more people, having more discourse, yapping more, etc., etc. So it does, I think, bro, I got like this. Hate to see it. So I want to keep Ultra Kill in the rotation a little bit longer than expected, you know, for a game like that where I just usually say, like, we're done, you know, keep it around. But, and again, try to keep, you know, anybody on YouTube who has thoughts about what you want to see from Ultra Kill, like, I'd love to hear your thoughts, you know, other shooters or whatever else you want to see. You know, several you mentioned Delta Ring. I'm interested in playing it. You know, I'd love to, you know, make sure y'all are happy too as newcomers. So it's a real good time, though. But I'm blessed with it. It does a phenomenal job working its secrets, I think, is the big thing that you know, it's something I have been caring a lot about in gaming lately. And they're killing it. It's no blueprints as far as secrets go, but it does a very good job. Like, blueprints isn't a class of its own, right? Like, it's up there with some of the greats of like gaming layered secret design, as far as I can tell so far. It's incredible. So. Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Okay, good enough. We'll take it good enough. We'll take it good enough. I know the way they kept describing this is very, like, hard to parse, so I'm curious to see how it ends up playing. Oops. Sensual. So the present. What's in the docket right now? Well, I'd put a big asterisk on the present docket. Because the big thing I want to talk about today is not the elephant in the room, but the, like, thing I keep mentioning. So I'm starting a new job tomorrow. And while I'm super excited about that, and it's going to be, like, as far as what you all care about. I mean, I know some of you care about me as a person, not just as a... No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure y'all are happy that I can have a new job and I'm not going to, you know, have financial troubles. But obviously, if you care about the content, like, yeah, it will affect the content. Unfortunately, the big unfortunate part here, dude, so true. So true. God, I don't know about all that, but the E2 S1 is definitely in the cards. It's funny. I even like with a bunch of money, I don't like spending a bunch of money on gacha. Now, like the Hoyo games feel a little better because they got guarantees everywhere. But raw current, I hate buying raw currency because it just. Ugh. But you bet your ass I'll be buying those yearly bonuses. I did this year too, because I was pretty sure this job was coming through. So we got a big stash of Star Rail right now in the back, in the back. It's okay. Yeah, I think that's a that is basically what I'm getting at with the long games versus indies thing down in the bottom of the docket. Welcome in, by the way, okay? Yeah, like I don't want to say no more long games because like, it doesn't make sense. We like long games. I'm not my ass is playing Persona 4. I'm calling it Rewind or Rerun still. Persona 4 P4R. We're playing it, right? Like, but like just on a regular basis, like it's tough. It's tough to get the time for it, right? And maybe there's ways we can make it work, but like, and it's also like I said. Oh yeah, that's also fair. Yeah. I think that's also part of the reason why. Say, SMT bogs me down more than Persona does, because SMT 5 at least has a pretty chunky world. It's a chunky game. Now, Persona goes on forever, but I was playing remakes. Well, playing Persona games. I've never played a new Persona game. And it's a game that just sort of, continues forward. No, that's fair. That's fair. Archipelago is complicated because I understand people don't like it. It's not everybody's allowed to watch randomizers, but I don't know that I want to become like a randomizer guy. Is one of the things that we do. Maybe I love randomizers. I have a very good time doing it. The thing about Archipelago is it's one of the best multiplayer on-ramps that I found that I like, and I really, I know a lot of people like doing, sort of gaming with Discord type stuff, and yeah. The other big like question mark is the gachas. Me funny gacha games is the big question mark for me. And the answer to that question is I don't fucking know, basically, what to do about that. We'll talk about that after, like later down the docket, I think. But that is one of the things that I'm like a little bit like, I don't know what to do. This comes down to like a personal time left in the week type question for me, and is one that I don't fully know how to resolve. But yeah, I like, I played the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy collab pre-release this weekend in paper. Yeah, Signalis is definitely on the docket. That one's on. Someone else mentioned it too. Yeah, no, that's for sure. The issue with the gacha thing is like, I have several things, some of which are just are just me as a person needing time to find time to do it, or not needing, wanting to find time to play the story of these games, which is finite. That's the hard. It's complicated. We'll go to that shortly. Yeah, Signalis for sure. Deltarune is not that huge. Lots of new topic recently that aren't that long. The trouble, as ever, with sort of like the two different approaches to doing stream games is you have one, which is, you play. I mean, I want to play Disco Elysium. Don't get me wrong. I just have not been in the mood for like very wordy games recently. And well, I just said, I think I need to be, sort of best practices is not to play exclusively what you want to play. I gotta like at least be like pretty vibing, and like I'm like I don't know if I'm ready for it right now. I've been so movement oriented recently, which I am happy about. I'm enjoying this movement. This is in part because I've been doing a lot of reading in Baker and Order recently, which is great. It's genuinely very good. The end writing, but it means I'm reading a lot. Now it might change a little bit too if I have less time, but we'll see how it goes. So present Speaking of things that are not very reading heavy, Pizza Tower. I don't even know how long I left the Pizza Tower main playthrough. I genuinely don't know how much we have left. Like we might not have that much left to do. Like we blazed through like 2 worlds. I think there's only like 4 or 5. I only have like another couple of streams left, which is great. I would love to be done with a game, not because like I hate Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is really fun, but for that same like it's a finite game that we can just finish kind of energy. Blueprints. So now, speaking of the numbers, again, I want to reemphasize that I'm not like, I can't believe people aren't watching it. It is what it is. Y'all should do what you want, and I'm just trying to manage, you know, I'm trying to find the Venn diagram center overlap period between what you all want to watch and what I want to do. If it were up to me right now, I'd be playing a lot more Blueprints than I currently am, because I love this fucking game and I want to play more of it a lot. But like, it's really hard. Like similarly, like the hard part about playing longer games or games that are more complicated is that the more streams of it you do, the harder it is for somebody to onboard if they haven't watched any of it, or if they've just missed a couple of streams. Like if you've watched every Blueprint stream but you haven't seen the last 2, it's gonna be really confusing walking in to see what I'm up to right now, because we made like all these crazy discoveries recently. That's not a great way to like get people into like your content, which is why, you know, sort of the upshot of everything is magnificent. The upshot of everything is the real path to, again, my focus is going to be on creating like sort of a concrete path forward, but not right this second. The hard part is with my desire to stop, not to stop, that's maybe a little too harsh, to create better communication between you all and myself, and to create better plans, because I have too many lofty ambitions, and while lofty ambitions have a time and a place, it's not always. I think the big thing, right? So I want to avoid that. Yeah, and also trying to like trying to find new people, right? That's the hard part is just trying to like marry all that. And yeah, so you know the big thing is sort of the long thrust of my thinking so far. Is that, for me at least, edited videos is like the sort of the magical salve here, right? Because it takes away pressure from the stream itself to be my method of discovery for new people. Like, I'm not gonna say it wouldn't matter what we're playing on stream, but like I definitely follow people whose videos I watch who like stream like effectively random shit. Just whatever they feel like streaming, or just stuff that sort of, you know, is niche or whatever. And I'm not saying that would even like change that much what I'm streaming, but it would make me much more confident in picking stuff that I just think, you know, some people want, like, you know, if I have people saying like, oh, you should play this, but I don't think it's going to be like necessarily a good pick, you know, discovery-wise or something. If the discovery is through the video releases and vertical video, I know, but like it's so, the numbers are like wild. Even on like those few shorts I did last year, like it's like fucking wild. The magnitude of eyeballs. Now, are any of those people convert into actually watching the stream? No idea. I didn't release enough shorts. But, you know, it's one of those things, right? Yeah, and it's like, you know, the thing is like I said earlier, like the money factor, I'm not trying to make this a full-time career. I'm not trying to make a bunch of money off this. My goal is just to like, you know, expand what we have, basically, right? To a point, the more people we have like in Discord and in the chats, it leads to better outcomes for interaction between myself and y'all, between yourselves in chat. Like I tend to think it is, you know, to a point much more positive to do that. And of course, like the money's not a non-factor, right? Like it's complicated, right? Like, you know, like if I can pay for stream gear and games through the money I make off stream, that's great. But that's why I have a full-time job that pays all of my bills, so I don't have to think about it, right? This is a like, you know, sort of interest hobby project of mine, first and foremost. But like with any project, even if it's not making money, I want people to see my project, right? So I think the long story short is I think like the thing that like the catalyst that brings everything together is edited videos. Because it sort of solves all these problems. The edited videos can be manipulated to handle the algorithm in very different ways than streams can. Not manipulated, but like presented or positioned to, you know, hit viewers in a different way, and they can be much wider in appeal than like some random guy playing, you know, Pizza Tower for 3 hours. With no particular gimmick, right? Like if I were a challenge run type guy, sure. That's the thing, you know, I watch a lot of speedrun and speedrun adjacent streamers, right? Challenge runs are a huge thing, but like my ass is not good enough at most games to do big challenge runs. It's not really, speaking of time, like I don't have the time for that shit. I can't like sit here and be like, oh, and I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, I follow a few streamers, you know, who have been following for years and years, who are currently, you know, doing no-hit OOT randomizer, where like if they take damage, they have to reset the run. It's insanity. It's very compelling watching. It's super tense. It's like Ironmon, right? Same deal. Super cool stuff. Good for viewership. You know, very sort of endlessly doable content. They seem to be enjoying it at least to some degree, because it's, you know, compelling as a challenge. But like, you know, that's all this to say, like, that's not really my jam. Yeah, that's also definitely get best of, yeah, for sure, Couch. And that's why, like, I've been, you know, keep saying this over the years in the Katamaris, like, my goal was always to make sure I'm treating this first and foremost something that I enjoy. Like, if I ever am streaming and I'm like, dude, I hate, like, I'm dreading going online, that's what I need to, like, I always need to step back and take a break. Or at least do something like, you know, just for me for a little bit on stream, because like I don't want this to be like, just to be super honest. Like, of course, like I have, you know, like everybody who's ever done anything is like, well, what if I made it big? It's like, of course, it'd be potentially cool. But like my goal from the start has been like, if I'm gonna do this as a thing, it has to be because I enjoy it. Because even like, you know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, it was still like a total crapshoot. And it only gets more saturated every year. Right? When I was getting started, like 2016, 2017, like that was a period, that was like the last gasp of like, oh yeah, you can definitely like build something, you know, with, you know, clear results. Yeah, no, 100%. And there's times where I'm like, dude, how am I spending all of my evenings doing this? And that's why I want to like what I play, because like if I'm having a good time talking to you all and playing games that I enjoy, that's valuable hobby time. That's stuff I'd be doing anyway. That's dovetails into the thing I mentioned about the gacha games. It's like, if I'm like, oh man, I'm cooked on time this week, that's part of the reason why I will sometimes steal stream time to like play Star Rail Story, because like that's what I would be doing. I'd be doing that, so I'm just doing it online. So that's the complicated part, though, is that, like, on the one hand, I could do that. The other hand, like, then I'm also, like, putting myself, you know, in streaming mode instead of, like, fully checking out, which might not be good for me mentally, et cetera, right? It's all back and forth, and it's complicated and personal for everybody. In general, I find it valuable. Like, it means a lot to me that y'all have found the stream and found what I make cool to some degree. That means a lot to me. And every time someone, you know, mentions that and, like, you know, gives me, like, you know, months of motivation, I'm like, somebody, you know, it doesn't really matter to me how many people find what I'm doing entertaining or valuable in some way, as long as, you know, some people are. So all of y'all who have been around for a while, like, it means a lot. You know, and I'm sure, I hope y'all are just enjoying yourselves. You know what I mean? So, like, don't need to think about it. But, you know, I mean, it's like, that's the reason why I'm still doing stuff. You know, when you're streaming into like a category and you get like 1 or 2 viewers and nobody's chatting, that is hell on earth. It's so demoralizing. And like at that point, just go fucking record it for YouTube. Like anybody who's doing that, unless you are dying to stream and you hate video editing, like just go to YouTube. Makes way more sense. No, 100%, 100%. Like, and this is the thing that's been troubling for me, is like, is that like it's really hard. Like I think if I'm looking at like, you know, what I've always thought to be like the smartest way to stream in terms of like, you know, metrics, it's definitely like farming out a category, right? Like if I had just sat in, I don't fucking know, like let's pretend I never like really played Destiny. Let's pretend Destiny, right? And like played nothing but Destiny for like 6 months, I would absolutely have good networking. I'd have met a lot of people in the category. Like you just naturally build steam doing that, but I would fucking hate it because like I don't do it. Like there's never been a game that I exclusively play for months on end. It just doesn't happen to me. Even games I play a lot, like even when I was playing League, you know, in high school and, you know, parts of college, like I didn't only play League. And so, you know, and like the hard part is like even I, who feels that way, like I watch people who only do one thing. You know, shout outs to, you know, I don't think of a random name of somebody larger. You know, shout outs to Raffle Light, who I've been watching recently playing Balatro. He only plays Balatro. He used to play Hearthstone, I think. But like, he's got a channel that's just Balatro. And I watch him only play Balatro. And it is what it is, right? Like, I do the same thing. I totally get it. I'm not judging anybody for not watching more than one category, but it's so much harder to manage a stream in categories that don't like have discovery, basically, if you're trying to like grow it all. So I think you're totally on the money with like wanting those playthroughs. I think like that has been sort of all of y'all who have been around the channel for a very long time, and hey, some of you newcomers might feel the same way about the, you know, the ultra skill playthrough and stuff. Like people who I would consider the diner regulars, are people who I think have mostly been here to enjoy the long playthroughs, or at least the medium playthroughs, like the you know what I mean. So like, I think you're right on with that. Like that's how I feel too. Like I think that stuff, you know, I like the times I get misty-eyed on stream or when I'm finishing a playthrough, right? And like the fact that like, you know, I got to, you know, play 150 hours of P5 and have some number of people watching me for that whole fucking period is like mind-blowing to me, right? Obviously these aren't big numbers. I'm not like, you know, tearing down YouTube, but like the fact that anybody at all was watching is like crazy to me, right? Let alone a whole bunch of you. Yeah, that was great. I had such a killer time with that, right? So like doing that kind of stuff is key, and that's why like, you know, my whole channel is built around blind playthroughs. Like, you know, my goal is to share my experience with people. But yeah, that's the hard part, Couch, for sure. So like the hard part about making variety streaming work, and I knew this even near 10 years ago, was that the move you don't make in variety streaming is what I'm doing. If you want to succeed at variety streaming, you have to sell yourself, basically. Like, you have to be here to watch me as SL_TV play whatever, basically. And that's really hard to do. Not because, you know, I suck as a person or whatever. I have no, like, I don't have high confidence in myself, but like, that's, who does, right? But like, I can't even get across like the vibe of the stream and what I'm doing until I get somebody in the door. So I think, you know, all this comes around to saying like, if my goal is to present sort of, you know, myself as somebody who can do like, you know, thoughtful, entertaining commentary while I'm gaming, which is, I think, the vibe. We have a good time, we laugh, we experience art, we experience cinema. The way to convince people to join that is, I think, to make videos. 100%. No, 100% thing. No, that's what I was saying tonight. Like, this is a persistent issue of mine for, like, non-essential projects. If I have a project that, like nobody dies if I say I'm going to make a short and don't make it, right? So, like, at the end of the day, it's not a problem cosmically. My life doesn't end. Nobody's life ends. It's an unfulfilled promise, which damages my credibility and the vibe of the stream, which is an actual problem. But nobody dies. It's not like a critical issue. I don't lose my job. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And so, and like, you know, I'm not trying to, like, I don't think it's a bad thing that I like to brainstorm and come up with ideas. But The problem is I need to follow through on ideas. I need to not get caught in the trap of thinking up 30 different ideas. Exactly. 100%. 100%. Totally agreed. Like it's not good. It's not good. Like the seeing like, oh man, the metrics weren't great on these first few shorts, and then not following through for like you gotta run a test for like months. You know what I mean? Like to do a test properly, you gotta like run it for a period of time. I gotta do like a short a week for I gotta put out like 10 shorts, doing at least one a week, right? And then I can look at metrics and say, do I need to keep doing this or is it not working? But not like 2. And saying like, damn, I didn't get 30 viewers from that. You know what I mean? And that's not like my literal train of thought, but like I feel, you know, that's like the vibe. Exactly. And so, you know, to that end, exactly. And to that end, so, you know, if you guys want to see a little project, I can show you guys something tonight. I've written this on the docket. After the stage, if you'd like to see a little preview of something I'm cooking on, happy to do that because it's a special night. It's Katamari. It's not like a really big secret anyway. I do think that, I know I keep thinking of, speaking of things I keep threatening to do but not doing, I think we are going to take some content kitchen nights to try to do some editing in the next few weeks. Because I think I want to do it, but like my time's going to be like much more at a premium than it even was when I had my last job because I have a commute this time. So at my last job I had, you know, late last year, early this year, was work from home. I didn't have to change my my schedule like at all. It was really nice for streaming. I didn't have to change anything. This time we'll see basically, but like, you know, I'm gonna have to get up between 7:30, which is not even that early. Like again, like I have a friend who's got like a 3-hour commute, right? Like it's really not that bad. I don't want to like oh, I still has to commute, it's so sad. Like no, it's like it's fine. I have a fine commute. It's gonna be like, you know, 30 to 50 minutes. It's, you know, gonna be sub hour unless something horrible happens on the road, right? Like it's a fine commute, but it does mean I'm losing like an hour and change a day probably to my commute. Not a huge deal. I also really got to get to bed between 11 and 12. Which, as we've seen in recent weeks, sometimes I like to go that late, and that's not going to fly. And I'm going to get up at, you know, 7:15 to get out the door. So, the upshot of this, as far as making concrete plans, that's going to, I think, force the issue on me wanting to spend some time where I would normally be streaming, doing some editing. I think, you know, I think that like that pipeline I just mentioned where I want to we'll see about that. But like I think the I appreciate it. I appreciate the offer. Just seriously. For me, the idea is not to focus on edited VODs really yet, because I think the hard part is not every game fits well to doing, you know, edited VODs or shorts. Some of them do. The other hard part too is that, like, you know, the goal on the YouTube channel, as I understand YouTube these days, sort of the big thing, is to ensure you're getting a high hit rate on your audience. Like as high a percent of your audience as possible, your existing audience, to watch your video and get a good click-through rate on new audience as well. But you get pushed much harder in the algorithm, even to new people, when your existing audience likes what you're doing. The hard part of that, what I've seen happen to people, you know, like again, like in the speedrunning adjacent world, for example. Oh my God, so true, Faye, so true. Like, and that's, you know, this is the whole thing. And like, I think, you know, if there were a theme, I don't know if I did like a New Year's resolution this year, but if there were a theme I start executing this year, it's like cleaning up my, you know, grand plans. Cause like, at some point I gotta stop planning and start doing it, right? I love planning, I love scheming, I love saying like, oh dude, like, can you imagine, like, that would be so cool if I did that? And like, it would be cool. Like my first year of streaming, I had an idea where I would do a fucking trailer for every stream. That's an insane person's logic. It's a cool idea. If there was somebody who could pull that off, that would be fucking crazy. That would be so hype. The trailer for the stream? But you can't do that. That's just not doable. Want a week trailer? Maybe. But like, that's the hard. That's why So I do want to do cleanup. Um, so the thing for me about the editing is that like, it's not gonna take that much time for me to get in the swing of it. Even doing those after this stage. Oh my god, I forgot. Even doing those two projects I worked on the side as like little test projects, I got more comfortable like really fast. I get a lot of like built up like creative anxiety when I don't touch a medium for a certain period of time. And like, I studied film in school. I was a film minor. I didn't do that much editing though, and I never really did a ton of like, sort of VOD style editing where you're taking like a mass amount of untagged footage and cutting it down, right? So I've never gotten that comfortable with it, and I put it off like crazy because of that. Now, to be very clear, I'm not using this as an excuse or as a way to sort of dodge responsibility, because that's all down to me not doing it. So, like, as far as like I don't want to say like it sounds so dramatic to say like empty promises over like YouTube ideas. So I don't want to get too dramatic about it, but like the unfulfilled ideas, right? These concepts that I'm just floating out there and not actually following through on, right? The floating concepts. So all that said, the thing that I think will be effective is as soon as I get started, I'm gonna be like fine in terms of making. Yes, that is true. I think for me, I think my favorite direction right now is instead focusing on vibes and things that have pretty like wide reach as far as like video essay concepts go, and focusing on that to sell the concept of like watching me basically. Like, hey, I like that guy's little essay. This guy streams? Oh, I'll check out the stream. It doesn't really matter what he's playing because I just want to hear him yap. That's the goal, right? Does that happen? We'll find out. But that's roughly the concept. But I do agree though. Like, I watch a lot of people who who have YouTube channels that consist entirely of edited VODs, and it works great for them. I actually end up watching the VODs most of the time instead, but especially in the Mario verse, a lot of people like do be just playing Mario for X number of hours, and you don't want to watch that for X number of hours, so you watch the VOD. I don't want to skip or short on time tonight. I gotta go in like half an hour probably. Yeah, no, that is definitely for sure is the case. So do you guys want to see some preview real quick? If I can find where the fucking videos went. Let's see. Where did they go? Where the fuck did I put those? Are you kidding? No, not that's shorts. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Sounds good, Couch. Thanks for being here. Good to see you as always. And thanks for coming by. What did I call them? Did I call them something weird? A different hard drive or something? Give me a sec. Ah, yes. It was indeed in the Crate O videos. Okay, the one video is like, it's not like ass. But like, what the fuck was I saying? I was making some sort of mini essay on Mario 64 versus Mario 3's world design. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. I think this is it. It was gonna suck too. I hate watching my own videos. Whatever though. This is not the final version, so it's fine. You're not getting spoiled on the final version. This one's like I think pretty close actually to being a like, you know, watchable video. But it's not quite there, I don't think. The Ocarina of Time and I have a complicated relationship. I first played it while running through most of the Zelda series, and while I liked it well enough, I was so caught off guard by just how good Link to the Past was that I was left feeling like Ocarina of Time was more or less just a translation of Link to the Past into 3D, and not that exciting on its own terms. I would love to tell the story of how OOT Randomizer completely changed how I felt about the game, dramatically so, but that's a story for another day. For today, I'd like to share a small example of what I've come to realize is one of OOT's greatest strengths, its thematics, its poetics. Leaving the Kokiri Forest is a strange experience. Link is accepting the call to adventure, per his destiny as Nintendo's special boy, and he's forging ahead to whatever awaits him outside. This is, to note, a deeply transgressive decision for a Kokiri child. One simply does not leave the forest, it's not really something in their worldview. Nonetheless, he presses on, only to be stopped by the sudden appearance of his closest friend Saria. After a brief plot and inventory relevant exchange, the two move to part with a bittersweet farewell. But before we can leave, before we can reach Hyrule Field, there's a pause. A lengthy, heavy, painful pause. The camera pans back. We're to take notice of what's happening. The world is frozen. Link hesitates. Here at the dawn of the 3D age for consoles is a moment of visual storytelling, of complex character animation. He begins to shuffle backwards without turning, without saying a word or making a sound. Despite being a silent protagonist, it's deeply, deeply clear what's running through Link's head. Our hero, fresh off a victory over Goma as he may be, he's suddenly unsure. Maybe he shouldn't leave. This is all he's known. This all, of course, happens over the matter of seconds, in the midst of a tutorial sequence. It's incredibly easy to miss or gloss over, but I think, as I'd love to get into in a future project of a larger scale, this moment sows the seeds for some of the most poignant and significant moments of the game, as well as for its connections to its direct sequel, Majora's Mask. But for now, I just want to sit with this liminal moment, this final, irreversible step. Link hesitates, but he does leave it all behind in the end. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for joining me, etc., etc. You know how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. This me? Oh, what the fuck? There we go. Became gigantic. Well, if you have any thoughts, let me know. Otherwise, just, you know, treat that as a little sample of the type of thing that I'm cooking up. For that particular one, like, there's stuff I want to, like, big impactful. I mean, like, it's how I write, though. Fantastic. I don't want to sound like too pretentious, of course, but I'm hoping my fucking, I didn't see what we got. God damn it. And my word choice is hopefully pretty good on average. I do think like I was a little overwrought with this one though. A little lost in the sauce on like the sort of gravitas. Then we can tone down a little bit. As far as things I do sort of see you on in that sense. Oh yeah. Like the goal, like I think my goal is I think to in some ways not like sort of to do that but good. Because like it's a compelling hook. For me, I guess maybe more than doing that, but you know, just but good. I think the goal is for me to like there's a lot of, it's hard to talk about video games due to the nature of the medium being so fluid and interactive and subjective in its, even just like in its experience, right? Like it's not even like, okay, well, like, of course everybody's gonna have their own subjective experience of the movie, but like literally we're not gonna see the same stuff in a game. There's just no fundamental way, unless the game is, you know, a visual novel, that we're all gonna see the same thing. So I think like having like focusing in on little moments, I think is something that I'm interested in, just sort of as a general matter in games. I think it's a good way to start to do some videos with very controlled scope as well. But I do agree, like I don't want to be like, and that's why this is so deep. You know, people like spending like, you know, we've seen the Nintendo videos of people. I think that moment is like a big deal. Like I think OOT is all about very small details. Like I really underappreciated OOT for a while. Like that is just like a very good moment of storytelling. I didn't spend like 20 minutes on it. You know, like a sub 3-minute video that includes context on why my history of OOT. Like I think that's pretty fine. I think I edited it. The editing is underbaked, I think, for one. Like, you know, just having to literally just replay the thing repeatedly. But that is like genuinely a scene like I think about. It's just like it's kind of weird. Like OOT, I give lots of shit to writing wise, but like they do a great job of these little moments like this. Like like a lot of games, you know, games are very well known for not trusting their readers basically and having to like over-explain everything. And like there's no like Sorry didn't go, wow, I guess Link wasn't sure that he was going to leave. It's a fully like understated moment, and that's like very rare in games, especially like, you know, big publishers. So, but I'll have to say, I'm not trying to like defend my little project here. If you didn't like it, that's extremely fine. It's good to know that the vibe might have contributed to, like the way I presented things may have contributed to like an ineffective vibe, though. Like I'm pretty confident in my take about the scene, but the way I present that might be very much, yeah, exactly. Like I made that in, you know, like a 2-hour block. Like my goal was like to sit down and make a video in one sitting. I never came back to it. Like that was the result of the one sitting. Like from 0 footage to that, which I think was like, honestly, I didn't mind too bad as far as the time to the content ratio there. Pretty solid for a, you know, just shy of 3-minute video essay, right? But that included the script, right? There was no editing pass on the script. There was no revision of that was the first take of my recording too. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. There's definitely a lot of things to be handled with it. But that is definitely good feedback, so I appreciate it. Can't get the fences yet? But, you know, my goal with doing these little experiments was like, if I can develop a format, basically that not like a template that I'm just spitting out videos, but like developing a format, i.e. I'm, you know, working on my understanding of and my pacing of a, you know, 2 to 5 minute video essay. That gives me a lot of freedom to like, you know, do that. It's also something I think is like a little underserved. Bro, no, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Oh my fucking god, I hate this stage so much. It's my bad. So that's the goal. Yeah, 100%, 100%. The issue for me, I think, is less about the doing it, more about the releasing it. They do want to make sure stuff I'm releasing is like, you know, a very high quality. So that's why I didn't like publish this yet. Like it's clearly not done. And the hard part is I don't know how long it's gonna take to get it done. So I think my goal would be, as far as sort of, you know, sketching out like a schedule, because I do think that something like that could help, to your point, is to set a goal of, if I'm gonna set a goal for releases, making it very small. But stick to it for releasing things. And then if I want to make more stuff and not release it, that's a different story. Depending on whether or not it's done cooking yet. But yeah, that's precisely what I'm, you know, aiming to do. As I mentioned, you know, wanting to get a little away, get away from the. No, that's damn true. That's damn true. You know, as far as creative process goes, my ass wants everything I put up edited to be like as immaculate as possible. But that's just not how it's gonna work. It's not how it's gonna work. Certainly if I don't even make the videos in the first place, let alone release them, right? If I make 100 videos and then start releasing videos, they're gonna be a lot better than releasing the first video. I don't need to make 100 though. I think these first couple were really good to exercise though, and got me, you know, really, really rolling. So I have a lot of ideas to work with, and as far as these things go, one thing that would work well with your method there, Faye, is like whether I'm pulling stream footage or not, and I could, it would make my life easier. It would just might be confusing for watching on screen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. As the inimitable Jake the dog once said, the first step, sucking at something is the first step to being kind of good at something. And while I would give that advice to everybody else on the planet, I wouldn't give it to myself. Or I don't often extend it to myself when I should. But yeah, so like this is a good format, I think, to talk about something I'm currently playing on stream with, right? So like, while it'd be really tough for me to say, you know, think of a long game, right? Like SMT5. It'd be a tall order for me to like release a whole, you know, what I like about SMT5 or whatever, you know, the true meaning of SMT5 video essay. That'll be a long ass video. And like, I could do it, but like, I don't have the fucking time or energy for that. What I could do is talk about like a cutscene or a particular boss fight. It helps that I constrain spoilers as well. If you want to like watch a video about a game that you might not know much about, but you know, you're okay getting spoiled on one boss fight, yeah, it seems more reasonable than having to get spoiled on the whole game. It's also the case that I could trick myself and others into a whole video essay by, say, if I made 3 or 4 of these small ones out the same game, stitch them together, all of a sudden we have yes, no, like it's so antithetical to like my idea, like my way I wish I see how I want to interact with the world, but like reps is everything. No matter how much I sit here and think or talk about it, the reps are the thing. This isn't true for all people in all cases at all times, of course, but broadly is, you know, my feeling that like the #1 factor is just the reps. Have you done the thing more often? That will, you know, up to a point, like you have to be, you know, at a certain point, if you just keep repeating without examining your, you know, any flaws you might have or looking for areas of growth, you're not going to grow. But with sufficient self-reflection, the reps are the core thing you need to build around, is just doing more of the thing. That's how you learn. So I need to do that myself, of course, not just talk about it. So like, you know, I could stitch together, you know, some number of these VODs of the same game. If we're playing Persona 6 for God knows how long, and I make 5 or 6 videos, about Persona 6, I can then stitch them together at the end, release the Persona 6 supercut, and then we've got, you know, a whole essay about different chapters about Persona 6. But I don't have to spend 6 months making one essay about it. So that is definitely, I think, one thing that I think would be good for sort of new discovery. We gotta get over there. New viewer discovery is just doing something like that, where, you know, we're very clearly, you know, doing stuff that's very, you know, you don't need to have watched my channel before to really get invested in. How did I miss the fences? What the fuck? That sucks. I can't believe that part. What the hell? This stage sucks. God damn it. No. Oh my fucking. I got greedy. Okay, last time. We are not gonna be greedy. We're gonna accept our shitty score. It's gonna be done. See, exactly. The perfect is the enemy of the good. Sometimes you, like, you know, you gotta sometimes just take it good enough. But anyway, there's been a lot of rambling about videos. But yeah, the long story short is I'm going to be doing some amount of structured video creation. Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. It's really tough. You know, jamming, or whatever the equivalent of a jam is in your medium, like, is a really good way to do it. You know, game jams, you know, the little art, like, you know, one post a day things, you know, making small videos, whatever, right? That's like such a good way to, like, learn, and doing little writing projects, etc., etc. Whatever your thing is, just do more of it, break down those barriers to getting started, and roll from there. Yeah, exactly. Just like, the more you can tap into that, and then, exactly. You gotta just get some stuff down on paper, you know, got more of a writing background than anything else, and, like, you know, writer's block is annoying, but, you know, there's a Stephen King, I think, apocryphally, maybe, quote that I keep coming back to, I heard in college, is that, you know, someone asked him in an interview or some sort of talk, you know, like, how is your output this crazy? Like, how do you stay motivated? He's like, motivation. You know, I leave the motivation to, like, the undergrads. The rest of us just come to work every day instead of a typewriter. And it's like, it's such a unglamorous, but I think very effective way to look at it. Not every Stephen King book is a banger, but he's released a lot of fucking books. And a lot of them are bangers. And the goal was, like, you know, if you are waiting, you know, just look at Winds of Winter, right? Like, DRM's trying to, like, you know, move heaven and earth to make this perfect novel. And, like, you can't do that. And he's got, you know, 30 years of expectations on him. That's why this shit isn't coming out. He's doing smaller products and other stuff because, like, fucking, it's actually doable. So you gotta, to some degree at least, tap into that that sense of, you know, being more unfiltered, or at minimum, you know, just accepting that notion that, you know, it's not gonna be perfect. Like, the amount of learning I would get from making more videos is, like, infinitely more valuable than me, like, thinking about making videos. So, I forgot to turn the docket back on. What should I just fucking talk about? Right, so before I forget, I gotta go in the next 10. 9 o'clock's my, like, actually I gotta get going kind of stop. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like, I think there's definitely, you know, it's not to say, like, you know, you shouldn't reflect. Like, you should reflect and, like, you know, learn and try to experiment with new things and grow. But, like, all that, like, revolves around the practice of the thing. Just, you know, just doing the thing itself. If you're never stopping to think about it, then, you know, you may not be learning and you may not be growing. But certainly when you're getting started, just doing it is the most important part. And then at a certain point, you go, okay, am I actually improving or not? You know, evaluate that a little bit, but you do that as you're going. You know, the classic, you know, like, you know, development, exactly. If you're just in the pure realm of theory, like, you're never gonna get anywhere with that. Like, you're talking about like development projects, right? Like, the classic paradigm I always heard is like, you know, make your product something you're not quite sure you know how to do, but you're kind of sure you know how to do. And then learn how to do it while doing the project. I'm like, shit, like I don't really know how to, you know, do a 3D animation in a web page, just something random, right? Through, you know, a JavaScript library. Like, do that. But don't do like that and also 3 other things. Do that, and then the next project you do another 3D animation, but with another layer to it, right? I don't know how this applies to every medium, of course, but like I think it does, you know, like making a small video about, you know, for, like my theory for if you're trying to work on little projects like this to get started is like, you know, make a video about, you know, one little thing in a game that I'm familiar with. And make a short video and focus on that. And then I could do a 5-minute video because I, you know, started and I got somewhere with a video that was of, you know, very small scope. Just keep stretching yourself with each project and eventually you'll get somewhere. But you have to actually do the projects and stretch yourself instead of just thinking about it. So as far as other updates go, new schedule. Nothing big, just to expect for the next like 2 weeks, especially as I get used to my new work schedule. Just to expect some irregularity. Oh my god, right there is like, what the fuck? I've just been vibing. I don't expect to be like not being able to like stream at like 7 p.m. But I'm probably gonna end stream early. I'm not gonna fuck it up this time. I have 16 seconds left. We're good. We're done. So stay tuned. Discord basically is the long story short on this. Like, stay tuned, but the thing I'm thinking about is probably cutting one night from the next 2 weeks. Probably like Wednesday. We take Wednesdays off a lot. You know, Wednesday or something. Maybe adding a Friday stream for a little bit because Fridays are going to be open for me, as opposed to being, you know, a day where I'm like, I need to like go do something with my life. I'm like, wow, I've been doing something in my life all week. I've been getting out of the house a lot, so you know. So stay tuned for that. The on-hold games, they're going to remain on hold for a little bit. We'll do another Katamari or similar sesh in the next few weeks, I think. Certainly once we're done with, you know, Blueprints and Pizza Tower. But I want to figure out, you know, sort of as far as coming back to that concept earlier that we talked about of me not fucking continuing to talk about things that I never resolve. This is a short one. I'm going to do this. You want to end on. So, like, I want to finish these things. It's going to be tough, though. Like, SMTVT, we probably have, like, 20, 30 hours left. It's a long game. I burnt the fuck out on it. Oh, no, totally. I really do appreciate it. And for me, it's partially that, like, I, you know, relish my control over projects, and like, you know, I'm very much a, like, I'm doing the group project person, and like, while something I, you know, love to collaborate more on at work, this is, you know, a fun thing for me, so I'm always like, I want to do it, is part of it. But I like I said, I definitely appreciate it, but I will definitely let you know. If I never need an assist, I'll definitely let you know. What else we got? Yeah, so the on-hold games, I intend to finish some number of them, basically. SMT5 is the big one that I'm like, I do want to finish it. Some other Katamari games in the past, we're not coming back to. Like, I'm not playing Tears of the Kingdom on stream, I don't think. Unless we suddenly realize, like, oh shit, we should play Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'm not, like, no. It's too big. I don't care enough. It's a good game, but, like, it didn't take over my soul. It is what it is, basically. We have other games that have been on hold. P3, the answer I'd like to get to at some point, obviously. Again, that's not as much of a burnout question. Metal Gear, no, it is. You know, Metal Gear is an unfinished project for sure. we should do that. There's only one and a half more of games we have to play, and some optional ones which you'll probably not play. But we should do it. The hard part is, like I said, if we're just measuring numbers, right? Let's say I got to cut down, just worst case for a little bit, we got to cut down an hour from the stream every night, right? I don't think it's going to be quite that bad, especially if I'm actually like on time and shit. But if we do 2 hours of stream and I do 5 streams a week, that's only 10 hours a week. If Metal Gear Solid 5 is a 40-hour game, that is a straight month of streams. And while some people might love that, that's a lot. That's a lot of Metal Gear 5. So I want to keep that in mind, especially in the near term, as we deal with my figuring out how much, when I need to go to sleep, when I need to get offline to get to sleep on time, etc. Anything vaguely long, I'm going to be very tepid on for the near future. But, in theory, I would love to get to literally all of it. Like, anything I've talked about playing, I always want to do it. If we end up not wanting to do the whole thing, sure. But, like, I want to do it. So, the same thing with Danganronpa. I'm going to play Danganronpa 2 and 3. I loved Danganronpa 1. That was super fun. We had a great time, good turnout for it. Like, yeah, I want to do more Danganronpa. Totally. I was going to say, like, on the literal, like, time count. Not so much like the perception, like, if the time to beat is, 40 hours, like, that's an investment right now. But again, we'll see how my weekends look. We'll see if I want to invest more time into some things, and I'll be like, yeah, like I said, like if this is something I do for a hobby, if I feel like streaming a couple hours on the weekends, I can do that. It's not illegal for me to do that. So it's gonna depend on how I feel and how I get into a rhythm with the new work stuff. So I want to put another hold on those for the time being. Like I'm making like the official stance is no commitments on them until I figure out my schedule, but my intent is to get around to some of those. Like I said, my broad thematic goal is to step out of the realm of theory and into the realm of reality with a lot of my projects and stuff. I know it's a very sort of personal take on things, but like it is what it is. Like I do a lot of talking and not a lot of action. Which is, again, not like a fatal, sin, but it's one that I'd like to change. I don't have to, I think do better for myself and those around me. So we got that. Thank you, Faye. Usually, thank you. Sometimes I shake my fist, but I do appreciate the reminders. So as far as other stuff goes, speaking of other things, there's some dangerous games we talked about, including Deltarune, as far as games that might get very spoilery or attract new discourse or whatever. I'm interested in playing Deltarune. It's a lot of times, and it was good that we played it. You're not always going to be right, but so. Tempted, we'll probably give it a shot, and if it sucks, we'll just bail. Say for Deltarune in particular, given that it's going to have a big resurgence in interest now. I haven't played any of it yet. Right now, I'm going to be trying weekly archipelagos on Sundays, especially. Is that weekly AP? I think is good for Discord. Yes, the bot channel. That's not the goal for sure. That one is. I'm talking about putting up a lot of things for a long time. That is definitely some goals I want to get around to. But for the time being, just for interacting with Discord and hanging out, we'll do weekly AP for a little bit. But I'm open to the idea of doing something else similar. I think having a night or two where we do something consistent is, I think, a good idea though for stream schedule. As I said, forever, whether the Sunday Souls, whether it's the AP or whatever, something like that is nice. In the immediate future, I also do want to do yeah. No, for sure. I got lots of ideas for that. I gotta actually, put the time into it. So the weekly AP will do that for a bit. We'll have some ideas that I want to see if we, if we like it or not. If people don't care that much, then we won't do as much of it. We'll figure it out. I think something consistent is good though. Something where we do like, the expectation of like, oh, cool, it's Sunday, we're doing this, or it's Thursday, we're doing this. Yes, underscore industries is a thing. There is an underscore in the VODs right now, but definitely good to know. Then we talked about the long games thing, which is to say we're going to lean towards indies right now and shorter projects. Longer stuff is doable, but I don't want to dive into a bunch of mega long games. Like even right now, like I'm loving Blueprints. I've already played 30 hours of it. No, that's not true. I played some of my family actually. You probably played like 20 hours of it. And yeah, it's all complicated, but anyway, that's what I got. That's the docket. That's what we got for today. Thank you all for being here. As always, it's a pleasure. Thank you. It means a lot of people join me for these. But of course, these are, in no small part just to get my own thoughts in order and to share them with anybody interested. So stay tuned for more in the future. We'll do more Katamaris because they are valuable and they help set the direction for the stream for the next period of time. I think we have a pretty good direction right now. The answer is for a lot of things, stay tuned is the official direction because I don't know what it's going to look like. I might be cooked after for work. Yes, I think we will be doing more of those maybe on Wednesday or something like that. Exactly. The spreadsheet. No, for sure. We'll do some more spreadsheets because I think it's just going to be good for me to put that specific time into it. Like I said, part of the problem can be process wise is I'll be saying like, oh yeah, like I should definitely do this. And then I don't like carve out time for that. And it's tricky because people, will often say like, oh, I don't want to have to like schedule my hobbies on the calendar. And like, I don't want to do that. But if you frame it as carving out time to do the thing you want to do, it suddenly doesn't sound so bad. And so that's my, my take on this is like, it's not that I'm like, oh God, like I have to make myself sit down and do this. It's like, no, like I kind of want to do it. There's lots of easier things to do. And it's easier to do those things than to do the things that might be slightly harder to get started on, but might be more valuable. So that's the goal. Exactly. No, for sure. For sure. No. I got you. There's a we're sometimes I do some coasting on autopilot. Certainly if I'm got other stuff going on in life, which is to say like that's gonna happen on the stream sometimes where I'm not gonna be putting a bunch of extra time and energy into it because I got shit going on, and that's been the case the last few months. But there's ways where I'm gonna be able to work the angles such that like the coming weeks, instead of trying to find time to like manage stream stuff, we're gonna manage stream stuff on the stream for a little bit because I don't want to have to find extra time for it. So Content Kitchen, I think, is a great place to do that because it just is what it is. Like I don't want to have to like oh, and then the weekend I'll do the thumbnails and start coming up with some. No, like I'll do that on the stream because on normal stream time because that's already time I've allocated to it. So stay tuned. Thanks for being here, folks. It means a lot, like I said, and I will catch you all soon. Tomorrow night, it's just gonna be an ad hoc thing. So no VOD backlog. It's mostly good. The stuff that's left is stuff that I don't really, not that I don't care about, but like my ass is not uploading all those Pokemon VODs. That's too many. Maybe we can if I can find them all, but same thing with Elden Ring. That's a lot of VODs. But I should upload them. I should upload the Elden Ring VODs. We'll get there. One thing at a time. But for the immediate future, yeah, I got plans. So tomorrow night, stay tuned. Like it's non-zero chance I'm just gonna bail because I'll be tired tomorrow. But if I got some energy, I'll come on for an hour or something. Do something small. Play some Pizza Tower or something like that, or whatever. We'll figure something out. But something small though, or do a demo or two from the Next Fest demos. The VODs on a Google Drive fair. No, I will upload some VODs. I will upload some VODs, but like I said, lower priority just because like I do want to share them with folks such as yourself who want to watch it, but you know how it is. Anyway, thank you all for being here, folks. I'm Essel. I'll be back tomorrow or Tuesday. If I'm not here by Tuesday, I'm cooked. You will see me this week. You'll see me more than once this week. Stay tuned. Next night, folks. Enjoy yourself tonight. Get some rest. Peace.